It doesn't make sense that we're struggling trying to provide the services in facilities where our largest square footage is 1,207 square feet, where I'm legally only supposed to have 12, 13 customers in it at a time. And so if there are any questions, I'm going to make sure that my attorney allows me tells me what opportunity I will have to respond to any of the questions or the concerns. But we are very, very concerned about the pursuit of something that never should have happened had we been made whole over the last 5.5, 6 years. And the record again will reflect that that is exactly what we've asked of the county commission and the mayor and his administration, and we are now struggling and living with the outcome of the decisions they made.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes, sir.
Why should this ouster petition be dismissed?
Well, I mean, again, I don't want to, first off, I don't want to speak about what should and could happen. Our basis, and we kind of outline our basis in the motion itself. The law, and again, I don't want to go too deep because it's in current litigation. But when we look at the law, what we do is look at what the standards are. And the standard in the ouster proceeding is willful, number one, and then it's clear and convincing evidence. Mere negligence or because you don't like how I run an office are normally not grounds for ouster. So that's the basis of our motion to dismiss.
Do you think you should be held accountable for anything?
Now, again, when you start talking about accountable, I don't know what you're talking about because all I do is practice law. But we talk about from the legal perspective, the basis for the ouster, I don't think it meets the legal standards.
Clerk Halbert, obviously we've been talking, I mean, there's been a lot in the news lately, and you have a lot of critics. What is your message to those who say you should be ousted and are criticizing you?
Well, let me say this. One of the things that I learned a long time ago, being on the school board and the city council, you're not going to always be popular by every resident or citizen in the city or the county. However, it is my job to obey the law. I am sworn under an oath of office, and those oaths are very clear to us in what our duties are, what are required of us as per our duties. And I'm not going to apologize for not operating outside of the law. I'm not interested in that. I want to go by the book, the letter of the law. If the book tells me that I have 12 to 10 to 15 million dollars in a budget, but somehow I'm only granted 6.4, 6.5 million, and that only covers low salaries and $500,000 worth of operations and maintenance, that's a struggle for us because we haven't changed with the change of the times. Now we're serving so many customers, millions of customers worldwide, because we actually perform services for those who are overseas, those who are in other countries. And we cannot bend the rules, especially, we're not interested in bending the rules, but if it is our duty to justify to the county commission and to the mayor's administration what resources we need. We have access to those resources, we just don't see them. In addition to our the budget that is allotted for us, we have defined fees that are collected by our office. We don't see those as well. So if we have access to those, then we'll be able to clean up some of these matters. We're in facilities that we've been in for the last 10, 15, 20 plus years. We've outgrown them. We've outgrown the way we're providing services, and the law has changed. And all we're asking the county commission for, and have been over the last 5.5 years, is to make sure that we can be afforded the opportunity to serve our customers to where they're not standing in line. You take downtown by itself. According to the square footage, I'm supposed to have 12, 13 people in the downtown facility at a time. We could have anywhere from 25, 30, 40 people just inside that room. You're not talking about the line. So, we have a duty to do, but we have to have the resources to perform those duties as well.
Clerk Halbert, you're on the agenda for county commission tomorrow. You're expected to do a presentation. Are you expecting to be there to give an update?
Oh, I don't have a problem with giving them an update. As a matter of fact, I look forward to it because, we've got the historical records that show that we've reached out to the county commission, to the mayor for assistance, and we have no problem sharing that with them as well as a reminder.
And do you have any updates on the Poplar Plaza location that was the smaller space was closed down, you all were expected to move into a bigger location. What's the update on that?
Well, let me make sure that we're very clear. We knew 2 years in advance we had to be out of the Poplar Highland location because of the big box that moved in next door to us. So we have a document with more than 60 facilities that we were considering for purchase and or rental. So that's a matter of fact. That's a document that has been part shared with the mayor and his administration. When the mayor's administration, we don't have anything to do with facility infrastructure. That is all support services, planning and zoning. So when they make the decision to make a different decision, then we are left to suffer the repercussions of the decisions they made. We don't touch monies directly. We get our funding from across the street. If we don't get that funding, then we have the inability to perform those services. So hopefully this will be a fresh start, because regardless as to what brought us all together, I'm looking for the outcome to be different, and we'll be able to make sure that we can officially and effectively serve the citizens of Shelby County, citizens and customers of Shelby County.
How much does what happens in a circuit court revolve around the really important notion that the action taken there could reverse the results of an election?
Yeah, and that's the reason why, that's an absolutely great question, because that's the reason why the standards in a ouster is so high. Because what we're talking about is, if we talk about a period of time that you have concerns, and then you bring an ouster a year and a half into an election. This is a new election we're talking about. The clerk was elected in 2022. So if the citizens had an issue with the clerk prior to 2022, they could have not elected her. So for the system to attempt to overturn what the majority did, that's the whole purpose of the standard being so high, to prevent that type of situation from happening.
Do you have any idea how many cases there have been like this?
Yeah, I thought we looked at it, and I think we got 11.
It's probably like 10 or 11.
Yeah, so
It's very rare.
it is very rare. The last time that this happened as a fit and it failed was in 2015, but prior to that it was 1980.
2000.
Yeah, so 2008, 2015, 1981, 1981, and then earlier. I mean, so this law is not used that often, very, very seldom. And unfortunately, normally times when they bring this law in, you have criminal misconduct that has occurred. That is not the situation here. We don't have a situation where you have monies missing. There was an audit by the comptroller. There's no statements or documentation there's monies missing. There's no criminal charges, and those are the ways that ousters normally come about, and that's not what we have here.
In that ouster, they talked about a list of reasons, and one of them was the trip to Jamaica. Do you regret any decisions?
No,
No, we're not going to speak on that.
So now we're getting into the weeds, and I don't really want to go too deep into the weeds right now. I mean, those things will unfold themselves during the court action. Obviously, if you get permission from the court, you can attend, and we'll deal with all those things, and if we have to deal with those things.
Do you think it might stop short of the hearing or the status conference on the 31st?
If I had a black robe, I'd answer that question. But because I don't have a black robe, I just don't know the answer to that.
Clerk Halbert, are there any plans or inkling in your mind that you may resign prior to this petition reaching completion, especially if that motion to dismiss is denied?
Absolutely not.
Clerk Halbert, this isn't the first attempt that we've seen to try to, the county commission has tried to vote multiple times on trying to take steps to take you out of your seat. At this point, we don't know what's going to happen with this ouster petition, but what do you have to say about all these different attempts and how you keep?
I will tell you that as a professional, I'm very disappointed. Something is either right or it's not right. We have factual evidence that we are right. We're only asking for what belongs to this organization so that we can provide a service to the citizens and the customers of the Shelby County Clerk. If the county mayor, the county commission makes a different decision and decides they want to do something else with those financials or those resources, then that's not something we can be held accountable to. We're on the record making it known what we need, what it takes, and it is within our budget. It is within our duty and authority. It belongs to this organization. It was generated by the voters of Shelby County for this organization. If they make a different decision and decide that they don't want to give it to us to use it, then that's on them. I can't explain what their decisions, why they made their decisions.
And we'll take one more question, and then we got to get out of here. Any other questions?
Clerk, have you made a corrective plan to submit to the commission?
Oh yes, there's going to be a corrective action plan. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, have
Thank
a
you
good day.
all.
What is your name, sir?
Daryl O'Neill. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Glad they waited on me.